bacon.
All right.
This is Sizzling, powered by Fit to Be Trained, coming to you from the Deep End Broadcasting Network studios in the lovely Virginia Beach, Virginia. I can't say this without laughing. In the United States of America. You can find this program on deependbroadcasting.com and subscribe to this network's YouTube channel, Deep End 757 Broadcasting. Hey, y'all, I am Karen Dougherty, aka Sizzle, and you can find me all over the internet under Fit to Be Trained. It's kind of redundant. It just keeps going and going. It's
wherever you're at, do hit Fit to Be Trained.
Yeah,
and
it'll show up. It'll come. It'll pop up. Well, I'm excited today for a lot of different reasons, and I'm always excited to do this because I like doing this week after week, Steve. I just want to thank you so much for spending time with me every Wednesday and doing this. It's become a happy place for me. And I just love chit-chatting with you about anything fitness. And today we're having a big snowstorm here in Virginia Beach.
Oh, yes. Almost a foot of snow.
I don't know if I believe that. Come on now. But
which is extremely rare for these parts.
If a pig flew through past the window, though, I'd be like, well, that's the way things are now. Sizzling is now flying through the air.
No, newsflash.
When pigs fly, at least bacon's coming to our windows now. But here's another reason why I'm really excited, because my pal, my very, very good pal, like so much a good pal that I even think of her as kind of like my little sister. And I'm proud to say that because she's a hard worker, and I've known her for a long, long time. I've known her since I was in my 30s, which would probably put her in her 20s. She's a little bit younger than me, a little bit younger and sassier, if you can imagine. And her name is Sheridan. And yay! I know, I love her dearly. I really do. But I want to get serious now, and I have to tell, like, I can tell you how wonderful she is and how into fitness she has always been. That's how I met her. I was into fitness when we were much, much younger, and we worked together at the same business, but we didn't know each other. We had a lot of girlfriends that were the same, so we knew we liked each other. We shared these same women. But anyway, Sherry was competing in a show, and I was like, who's this chick that's competing in a show? I want to go. Because back then, I was looking at all the fitness magazines, and I wanted to be those girls. I had always been in the fitness industry, and I loved reading Oxygen magazine. Remember that, Sherry? Remember Oxygen? And of course, Muscle and Fitness. And anyway, and here was this girl that was doing it. I was always too scared to do it. It was a lot. Back then, we didn't have apps. You had to really put your food down on a notebook and document everything and eat everything and everything correctly. And there wasn't as many supplements, and that's what there were some back then. We're going to talk about all that today. But before I keep going on about how I did meet Sherry through fitness, and then we ended up becoming friends. I went to see her show. She was amazing, and she won. And this is what, 90s, right, Sherry?
Yeah, I think that was 1997.
Yeah, I mean, this is a long time ago. But since then, we've grown together in fitness. And like I have for her accolades, she's a former fitness competitor, gym manager, member, advisor, formerly NASM certified personal trainer, gymnastics coach for 18 years. That's a lot. Martial arts instructor. You always gotta. Yeah, that's a good one. Martial arts. I've never done anything.
Oh yeah, that's a fun one.
I mean, I never made it in there. I always got kicked out of there. They were like, "You need to focus, Dougherty." I'm like, all right, I'm gonna meet you guys later. Now that I'm in my 50s, I could probably go in there and get some respect. But when I was younger, I was just bouncing around too much. I like those guys and girls, you know what I mean. But anyway, I want to I said, hey, Sherry, you want to call, she was like, I'll come on your show. And I was like, cool, I'd love to have you on the show. And we just thought we'd talk about supplements. And so I always like type up some fun facts. And because I was behind, my pal Sherry, you don't have a copy of this, but what you do have is an excessive knowledge of food. I remember when we were younger how you always knew things before they were popular. Like you told me to put charcoal on my teeth. I thought you were nuts.
Yeah.
I thought she is like lost her mind now. There was always just these cool things. She'd be like, all right, you need to take this, this, and this. And I never was good at that stuff. And probably I never got good at it because I had girlfriends that were great at it, like Sherry. I'm not feeling that good this way. Well, do this, this, and this, or drink this tea, or if your teeth are yellow, I've always been getting my teeth white somehow or another. Put charcoal on them. I was like, what? So it's always been her kind of ahead of the game. So when she said, I want to talk about supplements, ha ha ha, I laughed. I was like, of course you do. And I can only chime in a little bit here. But I wanted to do something.
I mean, what a huge topic, though, to be honest.
It
Right.
is. I mean,
Because there's so much out there that is not a supplement that's probably declared as a supplement. I'm sure we'll get into that as we go along.
yeah,
this
that's
morning.
what's so fun is like this can be ongoing and going because we're doing this every week. It doesn't have to end today. But some fun facts about supplements, ancient roots. The use of plants as medicine predates written history. Archaeological evidence suggests humans were using plants for medicinal purposes as far back as the Paleolithic period, around 60,000 years ago. So what do we hear there? Paleo. That sounds familiar in the food world. But so this kind of stuff has been around forever. Vitamin discovery. The word vitamin was coined by a Polish biochemist named Casimir Funk. That's a cool name. In 1920, it comes from the Latin word vita, meaning life, and amine, because scientists originally thought they contained amino acids. That's fascinating because I am into amino acids. I don't know a lot about them, but I just thought that was a fun fact for sure. And last but not least, and I'll shut up, global popularity. Isn't that funny? I mean, we'll talk about a multi-million-dollar business. An estimated 75% of the world's population uses or has use of some type of herbal remedy. In some Asian and African countries, traditional medicine, including herbal remedies, is the primary form of healthcare due to its affordability. Before I shut up, I wanted to say the supplemental market is valued at $151.9 billion.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah, right.
Insane.
I think they got rich off me.
I know.
And that's probably part of what I just talked about. When there ever is a lot of money involved, you're going to deal with a lot of products that isn't necessarily part of the grand scheme of things for the good.
Supplements.
Yeah.
I don't believe a lot of them. I'm very cynical when it comes to them because I've just been in the fitness industry forever, and they were always an add-on, for gyms and stuff for us to make money. And a lot of them were just BS, but then a lot of them weren't, and you had to decipher what was what. So like when, like Sherry, when we were younger, was doing a lot of stuff with food. Like she was the one that was like, we got to get a garden. This food is contaminated and disgusting. You can't keep eating this stuff. And this was like before it was popular. Now all of a sudden, everybody was aware.
Yeah, everyone knows everything's poison.
I know everybody knows now, but this is long time ago, Sherry. I don't know. I've lost track of time. I could go by our kids. My kid's 21 now. So it was 20 some years ago, we were talking about this stuff, and then forward, obviously, through our lives. So tell me, I'm going to get you started. You sent me a list of things, and I'm curious. Supplements I took as an athlete versus supplements I take as a retired but very active athletic woman, which you are, because I know you. Like, oh my God, me and you would do projects together at my houses, and oh my God, you were like you're such a badass. I always thought I was the hardest working woman there was, and then I saw you, and I was like, man,
we made a good team.
Holy crap. Yeah, we do make a good team. God, we do. I have so many good memories. But all right, let's go on to supplements I took as an athlete versus supplements I take as a retired, very active, athletic woman. I love this. Okay. So you probably have the list in front of you. Steve, here's a copy. I'm interested. What is clenbuterol?
Do you know?
I don't.
Clenbuterol it's a fat burner, and you dieted for 16 weeks, and then probably week 14 you'd start that clenbuterol, and it would burn any extra fat off before you got on stage. So if you're going
what
for
was
that,
it, like Ozempic back in the day?
It's considered kind of, I guess it would be. I mean, clenbuterol was like the go-to. I mean, the thing before that is on the next thing on the list. It's that aspirin, caffeine, ephedrine stack. That's what I was doing during my 16 weeks of dieting. That's a aspirin, caffeine, ephedrine. That's a fat burner as well. That's like a mainstream fat burner. You pretty much get those things at a gas station. But then
I'm laughing because I was doing hard drugs back then. And I'm like, oh my God.
The old White Cross pills, right?
Yes.
Remember
yes.
Oh
Stevie nailed it. Absolutely.
We actually had a rugby teammate overheated on the field on an abnormally hot and humid day.
Oh yeah.
And we had a black cotton jerseys, and they said he died. They said his official cause of death was hypothermia, but he was very dehydrated from drinking the night before.
Right.
But he would always pop the White Crosses before he get onto the rugby field.
Everybody did. We were eating them all the time. It was such a speedy time. Everything was about speed. I mean, I'm so old. I remember Christmas trees, Black Beauties. I mean, oh my God, they took them off the market, and that was like late 70s, early 80s. Everything was about going faster.
Yeah.
And I sure did, but that's a whole different podcast. Vitamin B12 shots. I never ever in my life have done them, and I feel like I'm supposed to, and I'm missing out on something. But
they're amazing, but I probably wouldn't do them now.
I don't believe them. I think they're lying. Am I wrong?
Well, back in the day, it was a veterinary B12. It was a horse B12. You couldn't just go get a bottle of B12 from your doctor and inject it. It's like there was a market, let's just say in bodybuilding, there was a black market for things. You could get clenbuterol, and you could get steroids, and you could get, vitamin B12 from the veterinary, whatever you needed. And those shots, you put a little in your behind, and when you're dieting for 16 weeks and you're like low carbon and you get 25 grams of carbs in one day, those vitamin B shots really came in and like gave you a little boost. They're like it's like a B12 is like a happy shot. So you're jacked up. Like I was jacked
up. I want one. I'm sold. Where can I get this? They're probably really expensive now.
Can you follow up on that clenbuterol and the ephedrine stack you did?
Oh, yeah. Well, the caffeine ephedrine stack, that was just kind of the mainstream. Like that's what we did while we were dieting. And then when you were getting ready for the show at the very end of that 16 weeks, then you'd hit your body with the clenbuterol. And you could only get that from a black market steroid salesman.
Wow. Right.
Sure. Yeah.
Oh, funny.
And then I remember, so I don't, is that kind of what you were asking, Steve?
Yeah. It's, and we already mentioned Ozempic. So how does that compare to something like the clenbuterol of today? Is that relative?
I think I'll be honest. I know for a fact that there are girls that I don't know them personally, but just in the industry, how we talk to other coaches, trainer all the time, right? And a friend of mine was saying his girlfriend was using the Ozempic for.
But you can order it through the mail.
using in
Ozempic
like
is
in
the most
fitness
dangerous
to
thing.
get the fat off.
Yeah, and you know what though? The thing about Ozempic is that it doesn't burn fat, it burns muscle. And then you're just a big bag of bones and flab. That's the thing is, but I mean, you have to go to the gym then. You have to push weights because if you're losing that, I mean, but a lot of people aren't going to do that. I mean, look at Karen, you almost gave all that stuff away for free. You know, we were talking about how you can give personal training away for free, but if people don't want to do it, they're not going to do it, you know, and that's the day and age is everybody wants a quick fix. And that is just not the case.
So taking something like Ozempic and not going to the gym, that's horrible, right?
Horrible.
In other words,
horrible. Okay. Yeah. It's a muscle mass eater.
That's what the neighbor bought some and I know she ain't working out.
Right. So it's super unhealthy. And you see all these gaunt movie stars, they look like skeletons. Their face is just hanging and their eyes are real dark and deep set. And I just, you know, it goes back to the fact that what Karen said in the beginning is we used plants before the pharmaceutical companies came and made plants look like an evil thing, you know, and now they've got the market on it. And instead, you know, it's use the microwave instead of the oven. I mean, you know, get it done fast because nobody's got time anymore, you know?
Right. Well, I'll move on. Spray under the tongue human growth hormone, LOL.
Yeah. What's that about?
I almost skipped it and I thought about it.
That sounds scary. That's how scary than anything else we've talked about.
Right. I was like a guinea pig back in the day, but you know, we had GNC back in the day. And
I remember.
And then, you know, I worked out at Twin Cities Gym. Mike Mitchell was my trainer. And of course, he owned the gym. So he's always bringing in these new supplements, you know. And of course, I had to try them because I was his client. And I remember him saying, hey, we got this new growth hormone in, you know, and I'm very careful about everything. Like when people said you should do Winstrol, I was like, I've researched it and no, thank you. But like you know, I was just like, okay, I'll try it, you know, and you spray it under your tongue and it's supposed to grow muscle. And I guess that's my point is that the supplement, I mean, we had GNC and I'd walk in there and, you know, they gave me a 20% discount back in the day, but I still walked out with $500, you know, gone from my wallet. Right. And then I think we got Sports Nutrition Warehouse in Uptown and that kind of alleviated, you know, then it was like $400, but you could get more stuff.
Right.
And I mean, yeah, if GNC had it, I probably tried it.
And this is back in the 90s, would you say, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, so it lets you know that 151.9 billion, you know, market. It's been going on forever, and that's why I was always kind of a little bit, you know, not really into that stuff.
Wow. I cannot pinpoint when, but I know the next one, chromium picolinate. Mm-hmm. I know I've had that before as some kind of supplement.
I've had it
too.
So
what's the deal on that stuff? Maybe you can jog my memory. Is this on the bad list too?
Burner. That's more fat burner.
Like a hydroxycut?
Yeah. Yeah. Bring up hydroxycut. There's another one I didn't mention. Hydroxycut's actually pretty good though.
Yeah. So there's no fears about taking something like hydroxycut.
I don't have that's a true and tested product. Yeah. That has to deal with the chromium picolinate.
Right.
Yep.
Okay, so that's on the good list.
Fat burners.
I was going to guess wrong. I'm glad you asked that.
Well,
the 20s were all about burning fat.
Because what it does is it heats up your core, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you sweat more because your body temperature is elevated. But I think it still gives you that kind of caffeine kind of buzz where you're a little jittery as well. See, that's the thing that's always sketched me out is that extra little jitteriness. And Sherry, I can't say I'm a skeptic, but my mom was just a known pill popper of who knows what she was popping at the end of the day. I mean, it was everything. But I know she wasn't very physically fit as well. And I had to spend her last 3 or 4 torturous years while she was in bed by her side, aiding her and looking at all those pill bottles. So I've been skeptical of what to put in the body from the get-go. I'm more of a El Natural type of guy from the beginning, but I know some of this stuff helps. And I could shed a few. So maybe the hydroxycut I can put back onto the table here.
Maybe. Yeah. You know what? And this is me when I was 20. So I was letting her rip, I wanted to be famous. I was willing to do anything, take anything, what do you got, But then in the same time, I knew that I'm going to say it again. Food is the ultimate supplement. Whole food is the ultimate supplement. And you can do it. Well, you can do it with food, but you have to food prep, which is, the idea here, but you don't have time to food prep when you're older. And we're going to get into that. We're going to get into, what becomes important as we get older, because when I was 21, 22, 23, being shredded and being badass and being famous and, all that was like, given accolades, put me in the magazines. That's what I was going for, and as we get older, those priorities kind of change. And so do the supplements.
With the food, I know veggies is a big part of it. Is it all the difference in the world between organic and non-organic vegetables as far as like the pesticides and all this? Or is some of that maybe a little overrated? Just get your spinach in you and you'll be good to go.
I hope that our organic, the USDA organic is really being upheld. If it's not, I'm going to keep lying to myself and just saying that it is, because you don't know what people are, but in order to get that organic seal, you have to reach certain parameters. And look at our world. Are they really being strict with the organics? And there are foods that are pesticide free and, herbicide free. There's like the top 15 things, like potatoes are still good. And, there's a list of foods that are not affected by the current food system. But in the end, I would say, do I buy organic spinach? No, I buy the big tub because I love spinach and I'm going to get it in. But one thing I do is I bless my food so that it nourishes my body. And I think that's an important step too, not to get off the subject and into religion or anything, but by blessing your food and praying that it nourishes your body, it doesn't matter to me, if it's organic or not. God's going to bless my body with it. I don't know. That's off the topic.
That was lovely. I'm so glad you threw that in there. Let's talk about stuff that you are taking now and that you really find helpful. And obviously, I'm leaving out from the other list. You obviously took a multivitamin even back then, and you probably still do that now. And then protein powder, we talk about all the time. And then lots of produce. So even back then in the 90s, you knew, even though you were taking these supplements, that maybe, that produce is great for us, protein and all that good stuff. But I'm looking over this list and I'll pass this to you, Steve. I'm just going to blurt out some of these because I think all of them are interesting and you guys can decide what you want to pick on. But creatine, collagen,
like it's opinion.
Magnesium, omega-3 fatty acids, and vitamin D3. Yes, that's one of my favorite sayings, Sherry. I know. Everything in this industry is opinion. And even like I was with my medical doctor the other day, I had a physical and we were saying it there too. Like you're paying for an educated opinion. That's why people say if you get a diagnosis that you don't really get a second opinion, right? So same thing in fitness, same thing in nutrition. That way, I always like to say that to people. It's just an opinion. It takes the pressure off because you can disagree and two people can be right.
That's a whole nother podcast.
Right.
In itself as
Two
well.
people can be right in this industry.
The medical
hands are not
field
like
and what's
this.
opinion in it, yeah.
Yeah, so I'll say that again, like creatine, collagen, magnesium, omega-3 fatty acids, and vitamin D3. These are all great things that probably, like I just ran out of magnesium and I'm like, oh, I got to order some. So I try to be good with that too. Omega-3, not as good because of the pushback. Collagen, I kind of have my opinion on that.
Too.
I know. I don't believe it. Creatine.
What's the deal with the collagen?
I'm going to let Sherry talk.
Yeah.
So your body produces collagen. It produces like 29 different collagens, but because of our food supply, we don't we don't get what we need. So
Right.
it's essentially, it's responsible for our healthy joints, our skin, our, our bones, our muscles, our blood. It helps blood clots. It creates protective covering on your organs. Basically, there's basically it's organs. It's we have vegan and we have non-vegan collagen supplements that we can take. And basically the supplements out there. So if there's 29 different, your body produces 29 different collagens. The supplements really cover the top three, the skin, the hair, the bones. There's flexible cartilage. The collagen doesn't cover all 29 that your body creates. They can only formulate it in the lab to cover those, the skin, the hair, the bones, the flexible ligaments, in your body. There's a ton of other things that collagen does in your body, but they can't recreate it in the lab, so they don't sell it.
Do you believe in the collagen that's out there, or do you think it's like anything else? Like there's some good and there's some bad, and you got to figure it out. Like which one?
It's so new that I can't compare it to protein powder, because I know protein powder works. I know, depending on the brand, obviously, but I'm collagen is so new, and there's so many fads in fitness. It's like the growth hormone. When I was 20, I was like, okay, this collagen thing, I'm kind of still investigating it. So the collagen, it's recommended because it does so many things for you. I feel
like I have dry skin issues and skin issues, and I'm directing that primarily back to nutrition, probably at the end of the day, if not our lead pipes that are old coming into the house with the shower water. Maybe it's one of the two or both. So I'm looking to produce more collagen myself. Is there and I think you just kind of said it, Karen, a multivitamin? For me, someone might have skin issues. And yes, I eat egg whites. I do eat vegetables. I do eat my meat here that I see on this list.
Like the food part.
But if I don't know if I'm getting enough vitamin C or zinc or copper or whatever, is there something recommended multivitamin wise that's
Well, if we want to go to the multivitamin thing, I mean, it's debatable. Multivitamins are debatable, and there's so much confusion. There's so much competition with vitamins, chelated, non-chelated. Honestly, if you remember to take a multivitamin, I think you're ahead of the game. Because I mean, I have a whole jar in my bathroom, and it's like, oh my gosh, I haven't taken a multivitamin.
I forget to take my fish oil, the omega-3, right? Yes,
right. But
what is
there's a doctor
or non-chelated mean?
They break up in your stomach.
Oh,
like they break up in your stomach a little bit better. Like Lifetime Fitness, not to brag about them, but they created their own vitamins. And I was a membership advisor there, and they're like, oh, they're chelated. And I'm like, same as you, Karen. I was like, what does that mean? But it just breaks down in the body easier.
Yeah. Isn't that one of the biggest knocks on the multivitamin is that you pass it before it even breaks down to have effect?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even a doctor from Johns Hopkins University says, I don't take any supplements routinely. He said he tries to eat 3 healthy meals a day of produce, plenty of protein, low dairy fat or low fat dairy, and whole grains. So even some doctors at Johns Hopkins are like, nah, but I don't know. I just try to eat right.
Because like you said, it's so debatable. And I've always been such a skeptic because I feel like they fill it full of filler. And, you don't really know what you're taking.
Right.
And so I just always ate healthy.
Yeah.
What else is on here, Magnesium?
Well, as we get older and as we've got a lot of things going against us. We've got chemtrails in the sky. We've got fluoride in the water. We've got, going to the grocery stores playing Russian roulette these days. I've never seen so many people reading labels, and then you get home and at the very bottom, there's that one label that you don't want. And you're like, oh man, you got me. But it's like, I think if you go up to that magnesium thing, it says, according to Harvard University, more than 75% of adults are magnesium deficient because they can't get enough through their diets. So all the more reason to take a magnesium supplement. It just, it goes back to that organic thing. I think there's more ability to strip foods of their, we've got the bioengineered food. I ate an apple the other day that didn't have seeds. That's crazy. I mean, the Bible calls us to eat the seeds because there's cyanide in it, and that cyanide kills gross stuff that's in our body. So
that's so cool. That's such a fun fact. I never knew that. Do you have any more like that? Little seeds?
Yeah, there's an Asian clan that eat peach seeds, or maybe it's an African, but they don't have any cancer in their genealogy because they're eating the pits of the peaches, because it has that natural cyanide in there that kills gross stuff, fasting.
That is cool. That's fascinating.
Fasting does the same thing. Fasting will, it goes after the gross stuff in your body first, which I added. There's those most underused medical tools.
Yes,
fasting would be one of those.
I do. I think they're wonderful. I want to read this list out. The most underused medical tools: fasting, sunlight, sleep, nature, real food, exercise, heat, cold, salt, magnesium, grounding. We'll have to talk about that. Meditation, laughter. That was lovely. I should have really let you read it, but I wanted you to hear it too, because sometimes it's nice to hear what you write, it'll come through. Grounding. What is grounding?
That's taking your shoes off and walking in the grass. That's somebody that works 10 hours a day in a hospital or 12-hour shifts in the hospital overnights. And we're wearing rubber shoes that don't allow us to connect with the earth, and the earth. Oh my gosh, we can get into Nikola Tesla and vibrations and hertz and all that. But really your body is a walking energy field. And when you are separated from the earth, which is your restorative energy field, we're wearing these rubber soles that block the ground. We're wearing sunglasses that block the sun. We're putting zinc oxide on our skin to block the sun. They're doing everything to block the sun from us. And really they're saying that the sun is dangerous and you should wear sunscreen, but it's the sunscreen that you're putting on your skin that's counteracting with the sun that's causing the skin cancer. And so grounding is when you are working 12 hours a day, you don't get anything, and you go outside and you take your socks and shoes off and you just walk around and you let the energy of the earth just move up your molecules and just raise that vibration. It's the same with food. Food everything has a vibration. And when we put that vibration into our body, it raises it, I think cancer cells vibrate at 45. So if your energy level goes down to 45, your cancer cells start vibrating and you're susceptible to illness when you're not getting the sunlight and the proper food and the right water and this and that, so it's a formula. It's a lifestyle. People always say, how do you stay in great shape? Well, it's not Ozempic. It's every day I get up and I grind. Every other day I meet with Karen and we, bang out the weights. And every day I get up and I'm eating the right foods or trying to eat the right foods. And it's a lifestyle, not a quick fix. So
I'm a barefoot walker. I love this. You just said something interesting to me. You're talking about vibrations and Nikola Tesla, and that again is a whole nother program. And I may have to have you on. I actually do a show called Inquisition Unknown ? Which is all about that sort of thing. Kara, did you know if you put sand on a plate on top of a speaker, if you change the hertzes, all the sand will change into different shapes?
No.
Like circles and complex geometric figures.
No.
It's one of those alien type of weird things that
I love
just kind of happens that we don't know about. So I may have to have you on that show to discuss some of that more at some point. Are you a deep meditator?
I have a deep prayer life. If that qualifies as meditation.
I think so, because me and Karen actually on the show discussed how I will sometimes meditate and I'll start to see faces and things. And, at some point, I think I'm almost like leaving this planet into some kind of alternate plane or whatever. Does that sound like nonsense to you, or is that familiar?
Nope, that's familiar. There is a God, and He's in charge, and whatever you're doing, meditation, praying, you're stopping the world, the static, and you're focusing on whatever that energy that's pouring into you. Absolutely. Prayer life, meditation, quiet time, nap, whatever you want to call it, whatever gets you quiet and shuts out the static and allows you to, focus on what's going on in your life.
You can feel the negativity lifting out of you in that moment in time. I believe.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yep.
I mean, if you think about any practice, especially an ancient practice, you're always asked to meditate.
And that's a supplement. I mean, that's right. I mean, that's what we're talking about here.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's just not a powder. Medical tool. It's this kind of thing.
Right. Right. Yep. Or laughter.
Yes.
Like we went right to grounding, meditation, and laughter, and like everything. Like, yeah, you're right. These are actions, not necessarily powder. Or actually, this whole list is mostly
free
actions.
And it's free.
Or common sense.
What's your main regiment kind of right now? I got a big thing of protein powder that I'm not using. I need to use it. Mm-hmm. I like to mix it with my coffee. Is that a bad thing? Let me ask you that.
No. Actually, my husband just experimented with that, and because we're trying to get off the creamer. We like our coffee.
It flavors your coffee. It's good.
But it's delicious. It's absolutely delicious. And we order our protein. I'm gonna pump Dr. Ben up because I met this gentleman. He's a doctor, and he was so sick of the poison in the food that he started a supplement business. And it happened to be right next door to the gymnastics studio that I was working at the time, or the gymnastics school. I mean, it was 50,000 square feet, but I was education coordinator. And I had him come in and talk about his supplements, and everything he sells is organic. It's made with and like thought, and they make it themselves right in Plymouth, Minnesota. It's called Aneva, and that's the protein that I use because I've used it all. I've used muscle milk. I've used Designer Whey. I've used whatever protein is out there. I've used it, and this protein is just like. It's just clean, and I trust the doctor, and it's average. It's $40 for a 2-pound jug, but I know the guy, I know the doctor, I know his process, and I know his ideology. Right. And so I trust it. So you kind of have to find, but yeah, protein powder and your coffee's awesome. And that's legitimately what I get up and do. I have 2 breakfasts. I have a first breakfast and a second breakfast. And my first breakfast is generally a protein shake, and I like bananas and peanut butter and just the whey protein. And then a couple hours later, I'll probably do the eggs and fill it in with the whole foods.
Me too. I do that same thing. I have 2 breakfasts.
And I'm starving always because then Karen and I work out 3 days a week, and it's just like my husband will make a whole meal, and then I'm still eating like peanuts or something after it because, my metabolism is going. So that's how you burn fat.
Gotta eat. Gotta eat. Most of my weight loss people, I always have to make them eat more.
Yeah.
They don't get it. It's science.
Biggest deception. If I eat too much, I'm going to get fat. No, you're not. You're actually starving your body if you don't eat.
Often. I know. Yep. And it's cool to watch them learn because it isn't taught. It's not taught in society. So, it is kind of cool to watch people go, oh, I wasn't eating enough? What? And then they get on some kind of plan and they realize they're not hungry. They were more hungry before. That's always a fun, pivotal time when people realize it. But even, like you look over all this stuff and so much stuff is common sense. But then you also see in 2025 how we have a lot of it against us, like how we were just talking about grounding, meditation the most, like our lifestyle doesn't promote quiet time. It promotes faster. And we were kind of laughing how in the 90s, we were all taking speed to go faster. So it is kind of like, maybe we Be careful what you wish for.
Right.
Maybe all that speed made us go really fast, and now we're trying to slow down. I don't know, right? We just got to go back to I know I am, and I don't know if it's because I'm aging and I'm just enjoying going back and looking at all the, how some of the, you never get done doing a squat. I've been in the industry forever. Like how some of the old school stuff just reigns forever.
Yes.
Eat healthy, eat protein. Granted, we need supplements because unfortunately our food doesn't provide everything for us anymore. Before I get D3, I don't want to skip that because we're in the middle of winter.
Right.
And isn't D3 something that helps us with the SAD? I've lived in many different states, and my Virginia friends in Virginia struggle the most. And even though I lived in Minnesota for a long time and the winters are long, the Virginians are the ones that I like. My peer group here have said, God, I get depressed, like get sad in the winter. That sun. Do you know what I'm talking about? I can't remember what it stands for, but I definitely have seen that here. And isn't vitamin D something that helps with that?
Absolutely.
Enhances calcium absorption while K2 directs calcium to the bones. That's why my son is taking it right now. His bones are healing, but it also does something with the sun. I know it's not listed on here, but I can't remember. Maybe it's because it says something with depression. Does it? Or I'm seeing things. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm going to bail.
I should have put that. I should have put that on there. That it is. It's like liquid sunshine. That is a supplement for winter. And even during COVID, they were saying you should take some zinc, you should take some D3 so that you don't get it. And it absolutely, that everybody needs a little vitamin D. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. That's why, because vitamin D is in the sun. Okay. I thought I was losing my mind for a hot second there. Okay, I'm back.
And even if you work indoors a lot and you don't have an opportunity to go, you should still be taking vitamin D. I mean, I don't take it in the summertime as much. I probably take 4,000 I use right now in the wintertime. But in the summertime, I'm outside all the time. So I want to get that natural sun. So I do try to wean myself off the vitamin D and really I'm outside from morning till night. So I feel like I don't need it as much in the summertime, but definitely in the wintertime.
Right.
Describe the perfect week of supplements for yourself.
Eating right. The food would be my number one. Like get your food in, and if you can't get your food in, pre-make your food, pre-prep your food, and then get some protein bars and some protein powder to kind of, supplement that. But food would be my number one. Protein powder would be my number two. Definitely my multivitamin, definitely my D3 right now, definitely my calcium citrate right now. The creatine, I wasn't a big creatine user when I was 20, but I believe that the new study, I believe creatine has been around long enough, and it has proven that it's a good supplement. But what I didn't know is what the benefits of it has for people over 60. It's really like, and they're even finding that it's helping with Parkinson's, it's helping with Huntington's, it's helping with muscular dystrophy, it's helping with osteoarthritis, fibromyalgia, all these new diseases that are coming out.
Wow.
Creatine actually is helping with that. And especially it says people over 60 benefit a lot. And they're trying to see if it also helps dementia. So I wouldn't mind getting back on the creatine a little bit. And the collagen, I only get when I go to the smoothie shop. We probably go to the smoothie shop once a week, once every other week. And that's when I do that collagen stuff. I haven't really taken the dive into the collagen. I probably should, but really, I mean, it goes back to that food. It goes back to eating. I mean, like literally when it's dinner time, I'm like, let's make some spinach. And we will put that whole container in there. And I just love spinach with butter and salt and, grapefruit for breakfast. And really, I just want to stress that healthy food is my number one supplement. And
yeah,
then
veggies are probably the hardest that I don't like. I'm really good about protein. I've got a lot. I drink protein shakes, so I put a lot of fruit in them, trying to get, the fruit in. But veggies are probably the hardest one for me to meet the criteria. I do take a multivitamin. Do you have any suggestions of, like, how nowadays, they have these greens, take, like, just like we can put protein powder, and now they have greens powder. What do you think of that, Sherry?
I haven't researched it enough to
Do you know
speak
what I'm
on it.
talking about?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I got a
Yeah.
mushroom tea powder,
Oh, I've been wanting
Okay.
to try that.
which
I wanna try
encourages
that.
blood flow and stuff like that.
Yeah, the mushrooms is a big
But
thing.
I haven't tried it yet.
Mushrooms
is
are the
big.
bomb. I'm a huge mushroom fan.
Interesting.
Yes.
Okay.
The lion's
always
mane,
have
the
been the
reishi.
Yeah.
What's that?
I said they always have been the bomb, and I've known that, like, with you for so many years. You always were a mushroom fan.
Give me
I've
some
always
chicken
been
in
a
the woods
mushroom
any day.
fan too.
Not that kind of mushroom fan.
I know, but I mean, I really have, like, they really are magical, not just the magical ones. I mean, the like nutrient.
That's the Inquisition Unknown show, people. We need to talk about
They
that
really are. Like,
Psilocybin.
I love how all this stuff is coming to fruition is the right word to say. I'm glad I get to say fruition, that people are acknowledging marijuana and mushrooms, and I'm somebody that's in recovery, so that's all I'm gonna say. But because that is definitely another podcast, and it stems a lot of upheaval, but I'm so glad as a person in recovery that marijuana and mushrooms have finally gained the respect that they deserve.
Sherry, I think one of the most underrated vegetables is collard greens, and I feel like I check a lot of the boxes when I eat them. In fact, instead of having a salad for lunch, I'll just take a huge heaping portion of collard greens, which, I mean, essentially is just like a type of spinach, at least in my mind anyway.
For sure.
But that's one of the veggies that checks a lot of boxes, right?
Amen. Yeah, collard greens, kale.
Those greeners. Yeah.
You get away from that. What is that lettuce? The round lettuce that they sell. That's just water. You want to go for
wedge,
you want to go for the romaine and the collard greens and the spinach and the arugula. Yeah, I think that's great, Steve. If you can stomach them. I mean, collard greens are kind of bitter, aren't they?
So I think
Southern.
Yeah. The place I'll get them from, I think, puts them in some sort of like bacon seasoning, like thingy, which makes it pretty good. But it is organic.
Oh yeah. Oh, you're on it. Hey, if you can do that a few times a week, you just do it.
Yeah, I do about 2 times a week because it'll be my lunch.
Yeah. We just do the best we can and try to get it in, and that's fantastic. Yeah.
What's the multivitamin that you use?
I use the Sam's Club over 50 vitamin.
Okay.
So it's got, your average stuff in it for older people, I guess. It's specially formulated for oldsters. I don't know.
I'm over 50 now. I'm not qualified.
I can't believe you're older. Cracks me up. I still feel like a kid.
And then, I'm sorry, Karen, I'm hijacking the show at this point. The calcium citrate. What's that?
I think this is cute as hell. It doesn't matter. Hijack away.
Yeah, the calcium citrate is there. There's calcium, and then you have to take vitamin D or something else for the calcium to absorb into your bones. But the calcium citrate is known for being able to naturally absorb into your body. That's why I picked the citrate.
Like magnesium citrate.
Okay.
You hear that a lot. Magnesium citrate, and then
Did I even
the
write
other
about it
one.
on there? No, I didn't even write about it.
No, just you always hear magnesium citrate, and then there's the other. But I wanted to, before we close out, You guys were talking about creatine, and I think of creatine back in the day. Remember creatine? Do you remember taking creatine? Like this is in the late 80s. Do you remember niacin? Remember we would take niacin,
Oh,
so you would
get really hot.
You'd get really hot, and you'd be like, yeah,
and flushed. Yes. Oh, that was fun. I forgot that.
Niacin and creatine, like it goes back. And so that's why I was kind of giggling over here to myself. I was like, man, I remember we used to take that to try and like get some kind of, and so now that it is popular for the 60s and it for people over 60. And I think it's really cool that so much of this old school stuff is coming back and coming back. It never left. Creatine never left.
No.
Niacin, people stopped taking it. And then I've even seen that pop up on the scene again. It makes me giggle every time. But I think what we've really come down to is we've decided that we have a lot of podcasts in our future. That's for sure. But also really what I really took from this, because Sherry does have so much knowledge about like, I'd like to get into amino acids and that kind of stuff. Like I know they're good for me. I just, I don't know a lot about it, but I think and I take them, but
keep taking them.
I think a lot of what we need to is a lot of it is, what am I trying to say? It's sunlight, sleep, nature, all the stuff that our culture now, with all the electronics, which is wonderful. I mean, we've got a great, world now. Everything's at our fingertips. It makes a lot of things easier, but it also separates us from some of the simplest things. Right. You're supposed to turn all your blue lights off so you can actually have a good night's sleep. Try to get your TV off, all our electronics,
Take your walk after dinner.
Right. I mean, we have been around long enough, the three of us, to really realize like we were so lucky we got to play outdoors when we were growing up, and we got all that sunlight and all the nature and so it is I love how you put on here grounding, meditation. I love how I had to ask what grounding is, because now being grounded is such
it's a good thing.
And do we do that? Like when I teach a class, and I do any sort of relaxation part, my ladies are always so happy because we all realize unless somebody told you to lay there and made you breathe and do nothing else, it's quite possible that you wouldn't do that or even take a full breath, or
stretch,
I ask them again. As a barefoot person myself, and I do like to work out in the backyard in the grass. Mm-hmm. I mean, even today, when it's 30 degrees, I'm wearing my flip-flops to the grocery store. Because I'm a beach kid at the end of the day.
Typical Minnesotan. Oh, you're in Virginia Beach. What am I talking
about? But I see these advertisements for detoxing through your feet. Like the patches that you put on your feet, and then when you look at them, or you put it like in the electric bath or whatever, next thing you know, the water's turning brown.
I've always
or the sticky things that you take off your feet are all black and gross.
Is that real?
Is that real, or is that kind of a farce type of deal?
I've tried them. They do pull. I don't know what they're pulling out of there, but I mean, I put them on at night. When I go to, I put them on at night when I've gone to sleep, and then you wake up the next day and they're black. I don't know the science behind it. That'd be another podcast. Like, let's all try them. Let's all try them and see how we feel.
Yeah. I mean, have you noticed how, does it make you, you're obviously doing a lot of things to make yourself energetic and, not lazy.
Naturally hyper.
In your own rate.
It's all that clenbuterol I did.
Do you notice a difference in it? Like just taking those alone from everything else? Okay.
No, I didn't notice like a feeling of difference or anything like that. I think what is it they're saying? They're claiming that it pulls
toxins. I think I remember I remember those like little foot baths. I've never done them, but you would hear people and they'd be like, and you take it pulls toxins out of your body, and it'll be like a whole different color and stuff. I've never done it, but I thought, oh, that would be cool. It's kind of like those pore strips.
There's
like that, like
there's
the instant gratification where you're getting toxins out.
Yeah, there's it's chlorophyll. Have you guys heard of the supplement chlorophyll?
Yes.
Like liquid chlorophyll. That apparently does the detox and the heavy metals and all that. It actually puts a lipid around the heavy metal and pulls it out of your body. So I've been taking that too on occasion, just in case you know want to know another supplement, body conditioning and cleansing. It's that liquid chlorophyll with glutamine and prebiotics. So another great supplement you might want to try.
Wow. Well, maybe, like we can put that in the bottom if you want to write that down, Sherry, and text it to me or whatever. And we can put it in the information in the bottom if there's anything that you want to share extra, that you think people would benefit from. And we've made the decision we'd like you to come on again sometime soon so we can talk about more stuff with you. And because you, like I said, I'm glad that I got to put you and Steve together too, because you've always been my go-to girl when it comes, especially when I was still in Minnesota, when anything with nutrition
or rentals.
Really, like it doesn't, I know you don't have a license in nutrition, but I joke around, like I would always go to her with stuff because there was something called something earth. Do you remember that?
Diatomaceous earth.
Yes, you taught me about that, and I'm not gonna bring it up. We'll talk about it in a different
another great supplement.
Podcast. But that was like 10, 15 years ago. Do you know what I'm saying? That's what
we use that as there's a swimming pool filter that uses diatomaceous earth as the main filter to keep the water clean.
Really?
Yeah. That's amazing. That's amazing. Yeah,
so you're an advocate. I've always been very skeptical and scared of the I call it DE, just for short. But I've always been skeptical of that. So you're telling me I'm probably wrong on that front.
Oh, I've been using diatomaceous earth for years. I use it in my beauty products. I used it with my chickens, and I use it because it's arthropods or whatever. They're like little hard shelled things, and you drink it in water, and then it scrapes out your intestines and gets rid of like weird stuff. So yeah, and
oh wow, so it's almost like an enema in a way, right? I guess
kind of, yeah. Like because those rough arthropods, they're they have hard shells, and it kind of cleans your intestines out as they go through your body, and they're pushing anything out that shouldn't be there. It's weird science.
I feel like I need an intestinal cleaning. I really do.
Like I'm going to rush out and get. Right? I remember her teaching me this a long time ago.
Find some bugs and eat them.
And I wonder why I wonder why we were talking about it back then. Like, what did I want to clean out of my system? Right, Sherry?
Right.
It's kind of funny, but because that was long years and years and years ago. So. Yeah. So thanks so much, pal. I always love spending time with you, and I'm probably going to spend some more time with you pushing iron.
Later, that's right.
Yeah, I know. It's chest and tries day. I like this day. It's a lot of reps though, because we do a lot of push-ups in between sets, and because we talked about push-ups, you and I, Steve, remember that? I love a push-up.
Greatest push-up.
But
I'm going to do some today.
Let's do push-ups all together. I do want to touch on something I talked about last week. I was going to try and get on the Pilates reformer a little more, and I did. Not as much as you think. Oh no, it wasn't that great. But I just want people to know that I am always trying to improve, and I got on. Yay!
Awesome.
Well, the more that I'm on, it helps me be a better trainer too. Like the more that I'm on it, I get more creative, but sometimes it'll make me even make it harder for the clients. But I really I did pretty good. I'd say I was on for it's been 8 days since we talked. So I was probably on it 3 days, which isn't perfect. I wanted to do 5 minutes every day. I think I did maybe 3 or 4 days. So that's better than nothing. Although I did not reach out to the group like I said I was going to do. So, yeah, I'm going to keep working on that. So if you're working on something in your life, just every day counts. If you want to start taking Diet Tenacious Earth, like we just talked about.
Oh yeah, what a show we learned today.
Yeah, right. Like if you want to start taking supplements and start looking into things, just
do your research.
What do they? Yep. Yeah, just do some research a little bit every day, or a little bit something for yourself every day, because our culture doesn't even want us to sleep. So right? You got to take the time for yourself. You know, a lot of this stuff is common sense.
Yeah, that is a real good. One last question for me. Is there a sleep aid that you'll use, Sherry?
You know, I've used, well, if you want to go from natural, the harshest, sleepy time tea,
right?
Chamomile tea. You can do,
what's the stuff that begins with an M?
I've used melatonin. I took one last night and slept good.
Melatonin's pretty good.
You're good with that, okay.
The Tylenol PM, which is horrible, but I had a bad hip at the time and couldn't sleep. So, I mean, if you go start with chamomile and sleepy time and that doesn't work, maybe do the melatonin, lavender essential oils. My daughter figured out that she would call it a drug. She's like, "You're drugging me, Mom," because I would put it on her feet at night and her chest, and it would make her fall asleep. So you could also, you know, and set yourself up for success in sleeping. You know, you don't want to be scrolling till 1 a.m. and then wonder why you can't sleep. You know, you want to, take a hot bath, put your phone away, turn off the TV, read a book.
Right. Or if you're going to watch TV, at least put the sleep timer on there so it turns off.
Yeah.
Right. Yes. Have some tea, do some reading, and then your body will naturally shut down.
If you do the Tylenol PM, you're asking for some Game of Thrones nightmare scenarios.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Oh.
Dragons and fire breathing witches and all kinds.
That is a pharmaceutical product. I just want you to know that is a pharmaceutical product that is not man-made. That is man-made. That is not natural.
Oh, I wish
if I take one of those, I'm like,
dream.
The melatonin. So the melatonin will make you remember your dreams. I usually don't. The melatonin, I'll remember my dreams. And last night in our dream, I was with Ned. Karen, you know Ned. I was with another college friend and then another college friend, and we're on our way to New Orleans. We got a flat tire.
This is in your dream?
Yeah, we stopped by this giant, kind of like a Buc-ee's type of place where they were open 24 hours a day, and they were super nice and helped us get back on the road. And
it's like a movie.
And we were going down for a bunch of football games. They were keeping score of all the games while we were going on the way down there.
And if you knew these characters.
Yeah, it was really weird, that scenario.
Ned is the one who named me Sizzle.
Yep.
Sweet. Good old Ned.
Good job, Ned. You nailed it.
I know. You nailed it. Like, even people that have known me for 30 some years are like, God, that's a good one.
That's perfect.
For so many reasons. For so many different reasons. All right, y'all. I had so much fun. I could talk to you guys all day long or actually listen. It was really, really, really enjoyable. I appreciate you both so much. And I hope you both know that. I hope I tell you enough. If not, I'll tell you right now. I am so very grateful for the time that you both took today to come and make this an enjoyable hour. I think we were on I forgot to set my timer.
Just an hour and 3 minutes.
All right. So thanks, everybody. And have a fantastic day.
Nice to meet you. Yeah. I'll see you at 11:30 then, probably, right?
Okie dokie.
Everyone be safe if you're caught in the snow.